reviewing Heroes of Might and Magic Free.
Do you have any special talent?
Reviewing Heroes of Might and Magic Free is a difficult request. While you have good games with strong followings, you also have exceptional games with fanatical followings. Fans of Heroes Free applaud the game with a religious zeal, and rightly so, for much like a well-oiled, silky-skinned, and voluptuous temple priestess,
This video does not seem... Oh my god. Okay. No.
not master her. In every crease and
Man,
fold...
Jesus, how...
Edition, almost every Slav and their grandmother own by now. Not the HD edition, which contains neither of the expansions and has every texture in the game sharpened and airbrushed by underpaid interns, making every monster in the game look like some bootleg Mugen character. Although, to be fair, most of the mods out there for Heroes Free also look like bootleg Mugen characters. The concept of the game is ridiculously simple. You can play as any one of 9 different... You can play as any one of 8 viable factions, represented by different towns. While you pick your starting faction, you can always conquer other towns and use their units as well. Each town is unique in its own strengths and weaknesses, although some towns have more weaknesses than others, with each town capable of producing 7 different tiers of units.
Why are
ranging,
Infernos
for example,
so
from
weak, really?
lowly troglodytes to red and
I
black
mean,
dragons
their
for Dungeon
best
Town,
guy
or skeletons
is pretty
to
shit.
bigger skeletons for the necropolis. These cities get plastered and spread through the game world, represented by
And
a
the
common
imps are
map
garbage.
area shared by all players. If you've built the appropriate unit dwelling, a town will offer you units to recruit, which replenish at the start of each week. Unless there's a plague, in which case everybody dies. Bizarrely, this also includes the undead. Remember to keep your heaters on in the winter, as pneumonia is still a leading cause of death among the elderly, including liches and power liches. Each turn you take on the map counts as 1 day, meaning every 7 days a new week begins, and everyone's army expands, if they can afford it. You often start scenarios and campaigns with a chosen or given hero, each with unique abilities that can be exploited to victory. These act as generals under your direct control, with a limited number of map moves to spend per turn. Each leader can hold 7 stacks of troops, arranged by position and formation, making up their army. A stack visually represents the number of a certain unit, which influences the outcome of combat. Losing all your stacks means defeat for your hero. Heroes can't die, but losing a fight will usually make them run off and join the enemy due to your incompetence as a leader. All this information finally makes sense when we get to the combat, which is also turn-based and divided in rounds, and initiated by players by robbing dwarven or Polish banks, or moving next to enemy heroes on the map. Each round, every monster on the battlefield gets a turn to move, attack, use abilities, wait, or defend, and that's the simple gist of it. When a stack attacks another, their stats are multiplied by the number of attacking creatures. Pretty simple shit, right? So if level 18 Craghack with
as a kid you never understood
level 18 Tazar's 4
if a
Chaos
unit would win a
Hydras
fight
with
or
his
not.
5 Ancient Behemoths, who we can only assume has
didn't check the
expert
stats
armorer,
and
how much
attacks and
damage
stuff.
would that be? Easy. We just balance this quadratic equation, plug in our expression coefficients into this algebraic expression, do a linear regression, find the acute angle in this triangle, and solve for x. Okay, real talk. Any mouth-breathing polygon journalist can say this gay, generic shit. You know enough about the game. Let me try and convey why it's so good. Your leaders can't directly intervene in combat, but their stats transfer to units, their artifacts are bullshit ridiculous, and their spells are some insane shit. And that's why the game is so damn enjoyable. Each town can build mages guilds to research random spells of increasingly higher level. Sometimes you get hot garbage like Hypnotize, which lets you waste your mana and fumble your turn, and other times you get nice stuff like Armageddon. Armageddon detonates a nuclear bomb on the battlefield, scorching everyone on it for massive damage. Except there's a few troops out there who are immune to fire damage or spells in general. A fun tactic, as in not fun for anyone else, is taking several spicy boys with your hero and running straight into enemy lines. The larger their army is, the better. Cast Armageddon, destroy most of his army, and retreat. Rebuy your hero at the tavern and do the exact same thing every turn. At most, you spend a few thousand gold on this strategy, while your enemy is incurring maybe 20-30,000 gold worth of damages each time your suicide bomber rushes them. Berserk is also a fun spell that turns any enemy rabbit,
the super meta in a high level PvP
be it
game?
friend or foe. With expert fire magic, Berserk becomes even more balanced, since it gives magic rabies to everybody in a 10-mile radius, or 16 kilometers for those of you still using outdated barbaric systems like metric. It's particularly enjoyable watching your friend's army tear itself in half without even lifting a finger. In many ways, Heroes 3 is the torture porn of turn-based strategy. Then there's the issue of the undead, which is one of my favorite towns, by the way. If you let Necropolis breathe, it will shit down your neck by late game. That's because every time they fight, necromancy revives most units back as skeletons, and if they can assemble a simple as seen on TV artifact, just pull the plug. Quit. Leave. Not sure if your opponent has assembled a Cloak of the Undead King? Don't worry, I have a foolproof method of finding out. Mouse over his stack of power liches in combat. Note down the number. If it's somewhere between several 100,000, or if a text box is flickering and glitching out, he probably has it assembled. Let me explain. Normally, necromancy revives only skeletons, but with a Cloak of a Balanced King, you revive liches instead. And liches are level 5 Necropolis shooters, and your opponent has billions of them. He has so many that if he ever tries to split the stacks in his inventory, his game will crash. Most spells get better by leveling up your respective school of magic. Often, expert level means you affect every possible target for the spell. At expert earth magic, the slow spell soaks every enemy in shit and reduces their movement speed to a crawl. Let's say for a rampart dwarf, he'll need 14 turns to reach your army, provided there's no boulders or small branches in the way. The same applies to haste. At expert air magic, every one of your units becomes a high velocity whirlwind of fucking shit up. If you've got a black dragon, or even better, a phoenix in your party, this often means you win before the enemy can move a single unit. Positioning and coordination on the map are vital skills to win the game. That is, unless you have expert level town portal, which lets your hero enter any friendly town instantly. This usually makes it impossible to lose towns, as a single hero can simultaneously defend them all alone. That is, unless the enemy can cast Dimension Door, which lets them
how do you play this on high level?
Inside of their hero.
Isn't it like aids to wait on your opponent?
This can be cast 4 fucking times per day, effectively letting a hero with large pools of mana to cover 5 days worth of travel in one, the hero's free equivalent of an intercontinental
Maybe you see it as like a game of chess.
Alternatively, if you don't care about strategy or tactics, just recruit somebody with diplomacy, level it up to expert, and approach any stack of rape dragons. Somehow, your poetic way with words will convince them to join you, and then proceed to decimate the continent with your newfound rape dragons. Even better, the added strength of the rape dragons
and you only wait
helps convince
for the
other
time that
ludicrously powerful neutral monsters to join you as well, diminishing the quality of your current game as you snowball straight to victory. If all those tactics seem unbalanced, that's the point. The game thrives on you straining its mechanics, rewarding experimentation, and punishing established conventions. There's a reason this game has its own published version of Sun Tzu's Art of War. Winning and victory is about meticulously knowing every intricacy of the game, while making sure your bullshit strategy will beat your opponent's bullshit strategy. Heroes Free is a great game, and still looks beautiful to this day, thanks to its hand-sprited graphics. Heroes Free aged better than most of the girls I knew from high school. Then again, heroin is one hell of a drug. The musical score and sound work is also fantastic. I've got it installed on every computer I ever owned. It's incredibly pleasant in its atmosphere, and a complete joy to play. The best game to cozy up to in a warm blanket with a hot mug of coffee in early spring. The very definition of comfy. That is, unless you're playing multiplayer. Then it's a dumpster fire of hot garbage. The game is trash, unbalanced dog shit. Trash garbage. The game is...
Fuck, I wanna see that. Undead band, Conflux band. No P diplomacy, OP. No water maps. I get to pick Crag. I don't even know what half this shit means.
Dumpster fire of hot garbage. The
I know
game
what
is
diplomacy
trash,
is.
Unbalanced dog shit. Who the fuck is playing Necropolis? Do you want to be kicked out of the house? Heroes Free. It's a classic. And this review generously paid for by the Merchants Guild. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
Okay,